G'day and welcome to the show. It is Sunday, 30th of March. March is almost over, which I do not like the sound of that. We have been so good in March. Hopefully, we can continue the good work into April. We did take the day off yesterday. That was our first losing day in quite a while. I'd say definitely a week or so, maybe not a week, but probably our worst day in about 1.5, 2 weeks, where we lost 2 units. You can go check out my text post on YouTube. We did rehash our results. We updated the records. Everything on the screen is all up to date. Looking back at uh, yesterday, Saturday. We did go 3-2. Anytime you get a winning night in the NBA, especially in March, you will take it every single day. First, had the Orlando Magic money line. We did write about this one on Reddit. We thought the wrong team was favored that game. The market did agree with that. That game closed at Magic -2 as no sweat of a bet as you can get. Magic win by 30 that game. Um, From there, we tried to play another Sixers over and got burnt on it. Walked into that game with a bad ticket. That total closed at around 217. We got pump faked that game because I first looked at the total and I was like, like this kind of seems like a good total. I don't think this is a Sixers over spot. And then FanDuel like bumped the total up to 221. I was like, all right, no, I'm in. Sixers over. I'm in. And yeah, that total ended up closing around 216, 217. So yeah, looks like Sixers overs are done. We had a great ticket on the Celtics and Spurs over. That game closed at 230 and a half. There were times where that bet looked a little bit iffy live, but we walked away with a win there. That game finished at 233. Next, we had the Grizzlies money line. Tried to play a dog as the market started to move towards the Grizzlies. Trying to play into the fired coach, team steps up angle. No, that didn't work out. We did have the over in that game, which was another no sweat bet. That final total was in the 260s, so really like that ticket. Anytime you can walk away from a day up money, you'll take it every single time. How many games we got tonight? All I know is we've got a few games that I'm just not even going to talk about. So we've got 8 games on the card. I have 3 bets locked in as of right now. Looking at a few more, but haven't. Yeah, just got 3 bets on at the moment. First, we have my Clippers in Cleveland playing the Cavs. Kawhi is out for this game. I have no idea why he's out, but he's not playing. Jerome also out. I have been looking. I have said in previous episodes that I've been looking head to the spot and like really wanted to back the Cavs in this spot. Story of today was I was pretty late to the market and I did miss out on the Cavs number that I was looking for. This game opened at Cavs -6.5, Cavs -6. I was only able to get to the market at Cavs -7, and I didn't really like that. Projections at Cavs -8.5. Now that's accounting for Kawhi more or less playing. Um, so yeah, Sunday afternoon game. Now the spread is at God. I should really get the spread up on my screen. Okay, so we saw this spread, yeah, open at 6.5. It got as high as like 8.5. Even some nines were popping up. Now we see it back at 8 with a bit of juice towards the Clippers now. So it seems like a bit of resistance there. Honestly, like at 8, I like the Clippers better than the Cavs. Like even without Kawhi, Clippers they got like Norm Powell. He's been taking it pretty easy since he came back from injury, but he's gonna have a lot more opportunities this game. Bogdanovic he can step up. Zubac can get a few more touches as well. So at 8, I like the Clippers better than the Cavs, but I don't really like either side enough at 8 to bet into it. Looking at the total, we saw the rec books open at 231.5. Circa opened at 232.5. Circa is currently at 231. Most rec books at 230.5. Most of the board is at 230.5. This is a spot where I played the under at 231.5. Played that at FanDuel. Not that, probably about an hour and a half ago. That total is no longer available. Now at 230.5 across the board. Projections got this at 233.5. There's two bets today that I'm actually fading my model. I mean, there's not much of an edge there anyways, but let's look into the spot that the Cavs are in. So the Cavs, they have won more than 70% of their games. We'll call them an elite team. So in this spot where an elite team is versing a winning team, so a team that wins more than half their games, where an elite team is playing a winning team, and they're in a revenge spot where they lost their previous matchup against them as favourites. So Cavs Clippers played about a week and a half ago. Clippers won as short home underdogs. Over 1,000 games, the under hits at 53%. So that's just blind betting would be profitable. 1,000 game sample size, that's a big sample size. Now, if you slice that down even more, where say, elite team is in a revenge game where they lost as outright favourites. The other side is also a winning team. If this elite team is also coming off the last game where they lost as outright favourites, this edge bumps up to 54.5%. So again, the Cavs, they just lost to the Pistons as 5 or 6 point favourites. Clippers coming off a big win against the Nets. So, definitely some nice league-wide system trends going towards the under here. Another thing, Sunday afternoon game, under spot. And one more thing, Clippers without Kawhi, 25-17 to the under. He is a better offensive player at this point of his career than a defensive player. He does not guard the best player on the other team until the last 3 to 5 minutes. So look, we like the under here at 231.5. Now at 230.5. If you can pick up a 231, go for it. Sunday day games, always an under spot. So let's move on to the next game where we have the Portland Trailblazers and New York Knicks. This spread opened at Knicks -9 at the Sharp books. It opened at Knicks. What did it open at? Opened at Knicks -9 at the Sharp books as well, but it was quickly moved to 8. Knicks coming off a nice win against the Bucks in Milwaukee. Blazers coming off a bad loss against the Kings in Sacramento. The Knicks, they are missing the 3 top point guards, missing Jalen Brunson, Miles McBride, and Campaign. Tyler Kolek is going to be featured a lot in this game. Anthony Simons is questionable. But look, it's a fairly simple cap here. We see the Knicks favoured by 7.5 points with the model. The Knicks shouldn't be favoured by this many points when they're missing 3 of their point guards. These teams played about 2 weeks ago in Portland. Blazers gave the Knicks everything they could handle. Knicks won that game from a Mikal Bridges game winner. That's definitely going to be in the Blazers' heads going into this game. They are not tanking. They are riding out this season, trying to make a last-ditch effort for the play-in. Blazers 18-8 against the spread this season against the East. I have 3 units down on a Blazers +9. Currently, we see the Blazers at +8, juice towards the Knicks. If you can find an 8.5, I'd go play that. This +8 here isn't bad either. I just don't think the Knicks should be favoured by 8 points against this Blazers team that's been above 500. I think they've been at 500 or above 500 in 2025. Looking at the total, we also have a play on the total. And this is another one where I've faded the projections. Projected total at 225. We saw the rec books open at 222.5. We saw the Sharp books open at around 223.5. I played the under 223.5, got that down for 2 units. This play was entirely just a market read. I saw Circa move this total down from 223.5 to 222. So I just went and picked up a 223.5 at one of the rec books, at Bet365 for that matter. Anytime you can get some CLV against a sharp book, you take it every single time. That's what I did. Now seeing it at 220.5, we're sitting on a great ticket there. So love to see that. Yeah, me personally don't have much of an opinion on this total, but sometimes you just got to outsource your opinion to the market. That's all you need to do. I mean, not having 3 point guards, probably an underspot. Like, Delon Wright is going to be starting at point guard for the Knicks. He's a defensive player. He's more like he's like a Chris Dunn type. So, sitting on a good ticket there, under 223.5. Now at 220.5, would not play into that. Go follow me on Twitter at SaltCovers to get these bets as I place them. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can tell I'm not a YouTuber saying that stuff halfway through the episode, so let's move on. Who have we got next? I think we might have another game. Is it Hawks and Bucks up next? It is Hawks and Bucks. Spread open at -3 at the rec books, -4 at the sharp books. I don't have much of an opinion here on the spread. Currently at Bucks -4 with a juiced 4 on the Bucks. Yeah, I mean projections at Bucks -6 accounting for Dame. Dame isn't sitting. Hawks pretty clean injury report. Looking at the total, this total projected at 224. Again, accounting for Dame. As I've said in previous episodes, one of the top 5 over players in the league, along with Curry, Trae Young, Nikola Jokic, and Tyrese Halliburton. Probably worth around 7 to 8 points to a total. If we price him as 8 points to a total, this would be 236 projected total. So now we see it at 235. That over definitely makes sense for me, but I personally don't have a bet on this game. The Hawks have been slowing down like a little bit since the All-Star break. Not much, just a little bit. And looking at the Bucks when they play top 10 pace teams, the over is 10 and 18. So a few things pulling me in either direction. So you know what that means. That means no bet from me. Next, we have the Pistons in Minnesota playing the Timberwolves. Pistons, Cade is doubtful, Schroeder is probable, and Harris is questionable. Clean injury report for the Wolves. Projected line at Wolves -3.3. So at 7, there looks like an edge for the Pistons. Now that model line does account for Cade being in the lineup. Probably worth around 3 points to a spread. So now not much. We saw this open at -6 at the rec books. At the sharp books, I think it opened at 6.5. Yeah, it did. So a little bit of Wolves action coming in. I don't agree with it. I like the Wolves, but I do not like backing them as like heavy home favorites against a good Pistons team. Wolves 12 and 21 against the spread as home favorites. Pistons 12 and 8 as road dogs, 22 and 13 on the road against the spread. So for me, it's Pistons or nothing. I have nothing right now. Like if you could tell me Tobias Harris is going to play, then maybe I'd put some money down on the Pistons. Like, look, say what you want about Tobias Harris. He's been pretty important for the Pistons this season as just like a smooth vet who can like just go get them a bucket when things bog down, when they don't have any offense. So yeah, nothing from me here on the spread. As for the total, we saw it open at 224.5 at the rec books, 225 at the sharp books. Some over action entering the market, projected total at 227. Yeah, I agree with that. Pistons, I say it every episode, they are the 5th fastest team in 2025, now 10th in pace overall. Wolves are a pace down team, but they also shoot. They shoot the fifth most threes in the league. I have no bets on the total either, though. Pistons and over are my leans for this game. All right, so this is one of the games that we are just going to briefly gloss over. Just a disgusting game. Just ignore everything that is on that projections right now. Just ignore all of it. We have Zion, CJ, LaMelo Ball, Trey Murphy all out. Those guys, yeah, I don't even know how to price all of those guys to a total, but what we've seen here is we've seen some clear under action in this game, which makes a lot of sense. We saw the rec books open at 217.5. We saw the sharp books also open at 217. That makes a lot of sense. I was late to the party with a lot of these opening markets, so yeah, this under makes a lot of sense considering all the over players that are out. I got nothing on this game, so let's just wipe my screen, get it off my screen. Next, we have the Warriors and Spurs. Spurs on a back-to-back with no travel. Warriors coming off a nice win against, well, they beat the Pelicans. I wouldn't say it's a nice win. Curry is probable. Charles Bassey remains to be out. Just a huge loss for the Spurs. The center, Charles Bassey, is out. I have zero opinion on this spread. The Spurs, like they just played Boston. They were like 12-point underdogs, and they got the cover against the Celtics. They competed well there. I think they were up at some points that game. They do not seem like they're tanking compared to the Wizards, Jazz, 76ers. As for the total, we see a big edge here towards the over. Now, yeah, if you had told, if I was awake when this market opened, yes, I would be running and getting as much over stock as I could. I missed the 229, I missed the 231. Now we see it settle at 233. Seems to have been met with a little bit of resistance. We see some 232 and a halves popping back up. So looks like the market now agrees that it's a bit of a coin flip. Do I want to go and chase steam? No, but it does look like one of the better bets on the board currently. Maybe Warriors team total over is a play here. I don't have anything on this game, so let's move on. And oh god, just another awful game here. Yeah, some of these late March games are just awful. Who is tuning into this game? Now, if you were lucky enough to have access to DraftKings and be on this opening market where the Sixers were favored, then congratulations. The 76ers should not be favored in any game going forward for the rest of the season. The market has just hammered the Raptors as a result, and now we see this at 3.5 to the Raptors. Projected line right there with them at 3.5. The Sixers are definitely tanking harder and better than the Raptors. I got nothing on the spread at the total. Open at 223.5. Still there. I got nothing on the total as well. Sixers overs appear to be well and truly done. So, last game on the card, a game that promises to be a lot better than Raptors 76ers or Hornets Pelicans. We have the Houston Rockets and Phoenix Suns. Tari Eason is out. Bradley Beal is out. Spread opened at Rockets -2.5 at the rec books. Rockets -3 at the sharp books. Hasn't really budged off that number. Although Circa did briefly bring this to Rockets -2, but then it went straight back to 3. I want nothing to do with this spread. I mean, I've got it at Rockets -4.5. The Suns have been playing better, even though they just got destroyed by the Timberwolves. That's just a bad matchup for them. Yeah, so the Rockets, like, they're an interesting team. They're certainly a team that I have not had much success betting on. The Rockets, like, they've done really well in their last 10. They are 9-1 straight up in their last 10, but they are only 4-6 against the spread. So they've been winning, but they haven't been covering. Suns 5-5 straight up and against the spread in their last 10. Looking at the total, where yeah, we saw it open at 224 at the rec books, 224.5 at the sharp books. This total has just been bouncing around a lot. Got as low as 223, went up to 225, now back at 224.5. Yeah, projected total at 230.5. Now we saw a similar thing with the Suns and Timberwolves, where we had a massive edge to the over. We ended up playing the over. The market moved against us, but we ended up cashing that over. Now in this spot, going up against a Rockets team that is just not as good offensively as Minnesota, that yeah, shoot nowhere near as many threes as Minnesota. I am a bit hesitant to play the over. Suns are a much better over team on the road versus at home. They're only 40% to the over at home. Rockets are 60% to the over on the road. Looking at these previous matchups between these two teams, they played twice in Houston. They're playing today in Phoenix. Game 1 in Houston, the game went over, but we did see a little bit of underaction due to Devin Booker sitting out. Game 2, also in Houston, went under, but saw some overaction. What did that game close at? I think it closed at around like 227, maybe. Let me just check. What did that second Rockets Suns game close at? The second one closed at 227.5. So I mean, if like playing towards where the previous line closed at, always like a decent strategy. So far I have not bet this over, but I am looking at it and I'm just waiting on the market information. I want the over, but I also want market information and I haven't gotten that yet. So keep an eye on my Twitter. Maybe we will go play into that. So let's have a look at our best bets for today. We have 3 of them at the moment. We have the Clippers and Cavs under 231.5. Got that down for 2 units. Sunday afternoon game under. Some nice league-wide system trends pointing towards the under in this spot as well. Sitting on a point of CLV there. We also have the Blazers +9 against the Knicks, sitting on around a point of CLV there as well. I just think that's too many points for the Knicks to be laying without 3 of their point guards. We also have the under here between the Knicks and the Blazers. A total that I have zero opinion on. We just tailed the market on it, and it is our strongest ticket today with under 220.5 as the market consensus. So, sitting on 3 plus CLV tickets, that's all you can hope for going into these games. Let's hope it turns out to be another great day. Looking at the Rockets and Suns over. Clippers against the spread isn't a bad spot. Neither is the Warriors and Spurs over. But this is all I've got at the moment. Until next time, let's get them salty.